You might be feeling way too high for a few hours. Time has probably lost all meaning for you anyway.
Today in Just in Case. Just go with that, of course. Alright, so we're going to do crochet bandanas. This is my first time attempting it. I kind of think I know what I'm doing.
I don't know.
So what we'll be learning today is how to do a slip knot, yarn over or scoop, how to chain and double crochet. And this is level 1, so it's pretty easy. I like using this Aunt Lydia's Classic 10. It's very dainty, very cute. My friend Daphne picked this color actually. I loved it. So it tells you to use a size 7 hook, but I like to have my stuff a little dainty, a little tighter, a little cuter. So I'm gonna go ahead and use a size 5. And that's 2. So we loop, go through the same hole, loop again, go through that first hole to make them balanced, go through 2, and then go through 2 to make 1. So right there you have your corner. That's your first set of 3 double crochets. So for step 4, we are going to create our next row. So for that, we're going to be able to chain 3. And then we flip our work because we're going to be continuing the row. So now we're going to create 3 sets of double crochets into the root of that chain that we just made. So you find that little hole under the braid and you start doing your 3 sets of double crochets. So balance them, go through 2, 1. That's 2 right there. Now go through the same hole, balance them, go through 2, go through the last 2, and that's 3. So you already did your corner. So now to create the other corner, we find the last hole and we do the same thing. 3 sets of double crochets. That's 1. Go through 2, go through 2. That's the second one. Through 2. Last 2. Third one. So we technically did our second row. Now we have to chain 3 to create our third row. So we flip our work, and again we find that root of the chain that we just made. I call it a root because it looks like it. You just find that little hole, scoop it under, balance them, go through 2, go through the second one. There you have 2. Go through the same hole, 2, 2, 1. So 1, 2, 3. You created your corner, your extension. So now we go into the next hole that we're going into, and that's obviously the last one we're gonna go into. So that's the next one, and that's the last one. That's the extension technically. So from here we're just going to be constantly flipping our work and working upwards into our crochet. And let me just show you where we're at. So this is that tail that I told you to always keep down.
Meanwhile,
And that's your set of 3. So this is like your extension of like the bandana, I guess. So now we're gonna, like, it literally tells you where to go. Like the biggest hole is this one. So that's the next one we're gonna go inside. So now we're going to scoop 1, go inside of this one, and again we're gonna do 3 sets of double crochets. So that's 1, you finish 1, into the same hole, scoop it out, go through 2, and then go through the other 2, second one, and then again scoop, go through it, create your 3, go through 2, then you go through the other 2, and that's your third one.
later.
So just a quick overlook of where we're at. We're still keeping that tail down and we're just going up in rows. So here we got our chain, and this is where we're going to start the next row. And we're literally just repeating the same pattern over and over. 3 double crochets into the same hole. And the best thing about crochet is that you can always go back and fix your mistakes. Like that one is a little too loose for my liking, so I'm just gonna go ahead and unravel it until, well, this one I'm just gonna go ahead and unravel the whole thing just to start over fresh. Try not to pull too much. So we got our chain and we just reset, and now we're going to go ahead and try it again into that little root, and that's exactly where we're gonna put the other 2 double crochets. And again, this is simply the extension of the bandana. This is what gives it that visual of the V. So now that I'm nearly done, I counted 32 rows of double crochets. So I kind of feel like it's ready to be done. So this is going to be my last row. And I'm basically just doing the same pattern that I've been doing throughout the whole thing. 1, and then just go into that next one, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, last one in the same hole, 2, 1. I sound like a broken record at this point. So I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit to get to the end.
I don't wanna be up on a pedestal. That's how them good, die young, haven't you known? My need to fly is my drive to expand, yeah. And my rebellion be the fuel to ignite you. We can travel greater lengths if you're letting me. While they stare and judge us, thinking all we do is smoke tree. And if you don't befriend me, don't act like you know me. 'Cause I'm unusual, so peculiar. I'm in my zone and I'm ready to go and take all over the world. 'Cause you gotta be true to you, and you ain't gotta deny your truth. 'Cause in this world full of casuals, we won't give a fuck, no we won't. Yeah. Sink your teeth in, never do what they say. I got my own mind, so I'll get in my way. It's my reality, so let me play. 'Cause sheep minds control what they can't contain.
So as we're approaching the end, we are going to be repeating the same pattern that we've been doing for the past couple 60 whatever rows. Loop, go through hole, go through 2, go through the last 2, and then 2 more inside of that one. And this is gonna be the last double crochet. So now we locate the last hole and we place 3 double crochets inside of it, the same way we've been doing for the past 60 whatever rows. Alright, so this is where we're gonna chain. I believe 68 I counted, 65, depends on how long you want the cords to be. And I'm gonna go ahead and measure this to my head, just to make sure that the bow that I'm making isn't too big or too small. So that should be fine. So now that we've reached the end, we're going to find the 3rd chain from the last, and we're going to prepare it the same way with the 3 balanced ones, but this time we're going to go through all 3. So this one's going to make it like a more secured chain. So now we're just going to go up all the way. So find the next chain, secure the 3, and go through all of them. Loop, go through the next braid / chain, go through all of them, and then you're just going to repeat the same thing down the row.
They're stuck in, they like it. They think nothing's wrong without them, the light is. And now they wanna take our power away. My ninjas fuck what they say. They oughta get out the way. Yeah, get out the way. Get out the way. 'Cause I'm unusual, so peculiar. I'm in my zone and I'm ready to go and take all over the world. 'Cause you gotta be true to
sometimes I get a little stuck like I did right here. So my chain isn't aligned, which makes it hard for me to see where to go in next. So now I found it. So I'm just gonna go and get in there and continue.
So we gotta release the power of the people. No need for more war. We need this year to be peaceful. Cause it's ours and united. When we're strong as one, yeah, we can fight it. All I wanna do is get through to you. Let your power shine through like it's meant for you. Cause when you're gonna do what you gotta do, you can't hide it. You can't fight it.
Alrighty, so here we're just going to finish with the same pattern, and we're gonna continue down the whole bandana that way. But first, we gotta make sure that we're keeping our tail down to make sure that that's the bottom, so we know that we're going down all of this way. So now that we know that we're going the right way, we find our next hole and continue the same pattern. Alright, so that is the next hole we're going to. That one is the next one, the one after that, and the one after that. You can see it's just like a little opening in between them. Let's go a little faster again. So as we approach the end, we do the same pattern all the way to the last corner, and then this is how I'm going to make sure that they're equal size. So now we're gonna go ahead and chain our 68. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and make sure that they're both about equal length. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but I like to have them a little bit similar. So I'm going to go ahead and measure, and it's a little bit off by a few chains. So I'm just going to go ahead and unravel a few. Now I'm going to go ahead and find the third from the last, go through the first one to balance them, and then go through all three. Yay! So now you're just going to go ahead and do the same thing down the chain. Balance the three, go through all three. 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 You know, sometimes when you get in the vibe, you just gotta let it out. You just gotta let it do its thing. Alright, so going back. I'm just making sure that I'm going the right way. And making sure that it's not all tangled up. Making my space comfortable to work in. And now we're seemingly close to the end. So we're just going to do our last one. And we're going to seal it. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to the middle one right there just to make it secure. Same, go through all three. And we are done. And now we're going to create a knot. So we're going to pull through that little tail we just made through the loop we created. This is my first video, so be patient with me. Alright, so I just put that little tail through the loop that I made, and I created a knot. And now I'm just gonna go weave that little tail through my other crochets just throughout the bandana, just to kind of decimate the string, and then I'm just gonna cut it up and we're done. Into the same hole, which is this one where your thumb is that you're covering.
The big one?
No, you're covering it, that hole. Okay, you're here, you're scooping. Okay, you have three right there, right? But it's not the one yet. You have to scoop and create the three, and that's the one you're gonna work with. So you have your three right here, like that. So now you're gonna scoop and go through two. Go through two of them. Yeah, push it, push. Good. There. Okay. And then go through two again. You are supposed to loop again. Always remember to loop and go through both of those.
Just to end up with one.
To end up with one. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Okay.
I just get confused on doing the next row basically.
Like after the
Sometime-
chain 3?
Yeah, after the chain.
So basically you don't know where it ends.
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't know where next to go.
Okay. I'll start telling you where, so you can kind of start visualizing in your eye.
Yeah, now I've been kind of seeing it. So
The
it'd be
pattern,
that
right?
one. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that one would go to.
But you just did 1.
Okay,
So you need
that's
2
the-
more. Remember, 3
to
inside of
this
that one.
To
Yes.
the same one.
Inside of
Okay.
the same one.
So it'd be that one.
Mm-hmm. Because it's technically the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
So like here, for example, I have 2. 1, 2. So I am going to go into the same one of the other 2 to complete the 3. And then if I'm ever, like I said, if I don't know where to go, I'm going to count 3. So here is 1, 2, 3, and that hole is like wide empty. And that is where you go in.